This message is not endorsed by any presidential candidate running for office. This message is to my fellow Americans. Take a look around you. Do you not see that something is terribly wrong with your country? You may not have until November of 2008 to take your country back. If you see what I see. If you feel as I feel. And you know your time is short to take your country back. Meet me on July 4, 2007 in Washington, D.C. Listen to this whole message. This is the first of a series to come. If you feel as I feel. If you see what I see. If you know what is coming, and don't know what to do about it. Now is your chance. Take this message, and record it to your iPods, to CDs, share it with everyone you love. They need to hear this message. If you think this is just fantasy, I feel sorry for you. Never go to the camps. Why do you think our National Guard has been sent overseas? Wake up, Americans, before it is too late. Please listen to the following message. If you care at all about whether this government lies to us, you'll listen to the whole thing. But it's your choice. The camps are real. The camps are real. The camps are real. Once upon a time I was a school bus driver. Given the small amount of pay available in the county of the state in which I drove, the owner of the small bus company contracted many different types of extra work for the drivers. During the first 3 years that I was employed, the spring-summer routine was the same. Local area National Guards reserve units hired us to provide transportation for them to summer maneuvers trainings held at any number of local military training facilities. The buses would be sent out to every corner of the state to retrieve, deliver and return guardsmen reservists called up for these training exercises. Have the reserves, but no buses, one may ask? Yes. But during the Clinton administration the budget of the Department of Defense was chopped off in multiple ways. And one was the use of those buses. Well, that is what the boss told us. What follows happened from mid-May of 1998 through September of 1998. In May of 1998, on the weekends, the bus company that I worked for transported the entire state's reservists to the local military facilities. Each bus, 20 in all, shuffled its assigned occupants from training to training. My first day of reservist taxi driver was at a barracks that was some 45 miles away from the training ground to which the reservists were to go. The commander of the unit came onto the bus alone and closed the door. He told me to play the radio low during the drive and pretend that I wasn't hearing a thing. Then he asked me, "But please, ma'am, never forget anything you hear and see today." The commander left and returned with 16 men, whom he told, "Get the bus loaded and settle down for the ride." And then he left again. The man in charge returned with 3 guys, maybe 25 years of age. He introduced them like this. "Okay, hey, listen up. This is Jones, Smith, and Green." I don't remember the names, unfortunately. He then said they have been assigned to us. I have told them they can ask questions on the ride, and we will fill them in on our history. One reservist objected. "Hey sir, we got non-com up there." Of course the objecting reservist was pointing at me. The commander answered, "We talked earlier, and she understands that she shouldn't listen. And that nobody will believe her if she repeats anything. Okay, any problem with that?" A rounded "No sir." The unit was a chemicals weapons unit that had been together 4 years before Desert Storm, during Desert Storm, and perpetually up until that moment, and would remain together long after. They were asked what the storm was like, were there really chemicals used on them or not. They described their uniforms, boots and guns melting on them, and in their hands. When asked if the brass knew, they described presenting themselves to Powell, Schwarzkopf, and Rumsfeld in parade, barely able to hold on to the burning weapons. All of the brass were in protective tents, like observation units, and wore personal protective clothing that was not available to the marching units. The reservists each detailed how within a year or two of returning home. Their wives had cancers in cervix and breasts and mouths. Each reservist's family had experienced either grossly deformed children, slightly abnormal children, or children born dead. All the results of something they called depleted uranium. Several of them spoke of these births in graphic details. The incoming reservists asked the old-timers, given what the depleted uranium had done to them, why do they stay in the military? One reservist detailed how his body was riddled with tumors and messed up. Another reservist said, I get these spasms in my spine once in a while. And I jerk like this, and it hurts so bad I think the devil is pulling my spine right through the body. I stay in, because the military and White House says there ain't no damn depleted uranium, and therefore these problems aren't caused by it. Leaving would disqualify me, and then points to other guys on bus. From VI benefits, if we get out. The only way to get meds, or treatments, is if we stay in. And stay quiet. The rest of the ride was quiet. Until we turned the corner to enter the grounds. The entrance was under a train overpass and through the gates. The road went way up, and then way down. This is important, because sitting on the hilltop was a brand new community of townhouses, 213 units according to the grand opening sign. The sign offered, quote, loads of discounts for military families, particularly Desert Storm alumni. My passengers gasped loudly and burst into a barrage of angry rants like, those sons of bitches. Hey sir, ain't that where we buried all that stuff we brought back? I remember driving the trucks and trash into a hole right about there, didn't I? Jesus Christ. How could they do that? Those people should be warned. What's under that mound? What about the water? Looks like they've towered the water in from someplace else. Or maybe they've tapped below the burial depth. One of the new reservists asked, what did you bring back? Every goddamn thing we could transport. Most of it still steaming with depleted uranium. One reservist sighed. One of the new guys said, depleted uranium seeps and spreads. Takes like eternity if it ever dissipates. Man, those people will have sickness, cancer, birth stuff. Can't be legal. The response from the second in command, legal, what's that? The U.S. military operates under the president, and is under the legal jurisdiction of only the president. What Bush Sr. wanted he got. And Clinton, he is no different. Remember, this is during Clinton's administration, and the Bush is George Sr. not Jr. As I entered the grounds through the gate, the commander told me, stay on the bus, don't use any toilets, and never wash with or drink any water. We stopped at a convenience store just inside the base gates. The guys all went into the store to junk food up, and even bought me a Coke and chips and cupcakes. The guy who brought it out pulled some wipes things out of his knapsack, and wiped the outside of the stuff off and told me, quote, the stuff in tinfoil should be okay, but not the stuff in plastics. The sodas were all cans. I felt rotten, but when they left the bus for the day, I trashed it all in favor of what I brought with me. The next day, I was sent with 19 other school buses to transport from the local military airport that I didn't even know existed here where I had lived my whole life. The buses were full, standing room only. The soldiers were from London, Canada, Germany, Israel, and Australia. One of the drivers with whom I worked was a troubled World War II vet, and he was really having a problem with the idea of foreigners on American bases training for duty on American soil. So he went to the Air Base Commander's office to lodge a complaint. My driving colleague was told that this operation is approved of by the President Clinton, and was a matter of national security. Of course, the driver, my colleague, blew a gasket, and they responded further. The officer told my colleague that the non-U.S. troops were to participate with all of the reservists from our state in order to be able to respond to a national crisis.